Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Andy Cohen reveals housewife he's completely done with. Andy Cohen has revealed the one housewife that he's completely done with. There have been many who have walked through the doors over the years via various franchises. Yet one has really ruined her relationship with the Bravo executive to the point he never wants to see her again. So, who is it? Keep reading for more details. Housewives have thrown allegations at Andy Cohen and even told him to cough, but he still has relationships with some. Oriado star Tamra Judge and Andy went at it in the season 17 reunion. Yet they were fine soon after. Brandi Glanville accused her former boss of sexual harassment, but he just avoids her drama. Carol Radziwill talks poorly about him any chance she gets, but he just claps back. Finally, Andy and Lee McSweeney are in a lawsuit battle, but he is paying no mind to her and just wants the judge to pause the whole situation for the time being. However, there is one housewife that he is completely done with and wants nothing to do with. According to Decider, Andy was hosting WWHL on Sunday, August 11th. He had Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers as his guests, and they played Truth or Cake. As they were playing, Matt was asked to detail a time he was unhappy with the host. He shared it was during the season 10 RHONY reunion, and Carol Radziwill and Bethany Frankel were bitter enemies. It caused viewers to choose sides, and Matt shared where he stood. "I'm sorry, I was always very Team Carol in that situation. I always thought you went too easy on Bethany." Andy Cohen agreed with Matt, and then the host was asked which one housewife he never wanted to see or hear from again. Matt Rogers felt he had just said it when he agreed he was too easy on Bethany. Andy then replied, "I think the answer's obvious, though. Bethany has been on a warpath to take both Bravo and Andy down with her reality reckoning. This comes after she thanked Andy and the network for all of the success they brought her in a Season 7 RHONY retrospective. After seeing this, WWHL viewers weighed in on the Carol Radziwill / Bethany Frankel debacle. More so, did they agree with Andy Cohen? Matt was quick with that Bethany line on Andy's turn. Matt and Bowen are always 11/10 WWHL guests. "Oh, Andy hates Bethany. HRE with Megheat." Carol was also an iconic housewife. Grounding, effortlessly cool, chic, fabulous, and brought great comedic timing with her deadpan voice. Always thought Andy went too hard on her. Andy Cohen had always been the kind of guy who could handle a lot. From juggling his duties as the host of Watch What Happens Live to his role as an executive producer of the wildly popular Real Housewives franchise, his life was filled with drama, glitz, and glamour, both on and off screen. But there was one thing Andy could never fully escape: the housewives themselves. He had seen it all: the catfights, the tears, the wine-throwing tantrums. But there was one housewife who had finally pushed him to his limit. It was a balmy Tuesday afternoon when Andy sat down for a special taping of his show. The rumors had been swirling for weeks. Andy Cohen was done with a certain housewife. No one knew who it was, and speculation ran rampant across social media. Fans had their theories. Would it be one of the OGs who had been on for far too long, their star power dwindling? Or maybe one of the newer cast members who had come in hot and made too many enemies too fast? As the studio lights flickered on, Andy appeared calm and collected, his signature grin plastered on his face as he'd addressed the audience. But there was something different about him today, an uncharacteristic seriousness behind his usual bravado. He cleared his throat, and the room hushed in anticipation. "I know there's been a lot of talk recently, and I think it's time to address the elephant in the room." Andy began, his voice steady but with a hint of exasperation. There's a certain housewife I've been working with for a while now, and I have to be honest, I'm completely done. Done with the drama, the antics, the chaos. It's gone too far, and I've reached my breaking point." The crowd gasped audibly. Andy rarely showed such raw emotion when it came to discussing the housewives. He was, after all, the master of staying neutral, the ringmaster who encouraged the circus without getting too involved in the chaos himself. But this time, it was personal. The camera zoomed in on Andy's face as he continued. "I've been in this business for a long time, and I've seen a lot. But I've never seen someone who can turn every single situation into a catastrophe quite like this person. Whether it's at a reunion, in an interview, or even behind the scenes, it's always the same. Manipulative, combative, and frankly, exhausting." Fans in the audience leaned forward in their seats, hungry for more details. The guesses flew fast and furious on Twitter. Was it Ramona Singer, known for her outbursts and inability to take accountability? Or perhaps Nanny Leakes, whose rocky relationship with Bravo had already been well documented? Andy finally delivered the blow. It's none other than Lisa Rinna. The room erupted in gasps, and Andy's statement hung in the air like a bombshell. Lisa Rinna, the soap opera actress turned Beverly Hills housewife, had long been a polarizing figure in the franchise. Her quick wit and no-holds-barred attitude had made her a fan favorite at times, but her constant feuds and meddling in other people's affairs had also drawn a lot of criticism. But for Andy, it wasn't just about the drama that played out on screen. It was everything that had happened behind the scenes. For years, Lisa brought a lot to the show. She was dynamic, she was entertaining, and she knew how to stir the pot, Andy explained. But in recent seasons, it became clear that the line between Lisa Rinna, the character, and Lisa Rinna, the real person, had blurred too much. Every time we sat down to film, it felt like she was more interested in causing controversy than telling her real story. Andy recounted how, during one particularly explosive reunion taping, Lisa had not only clashed with her fellow housewives, but had also openly defied producers, accusing them of manipulating footage to make her look bad. That had been the tipping point for Andy, who prided himself on maintaining an open dialogue with the cast, even when things got heated. It's one thing to have issues with your castmates, that's part of the show. But when you start attacking the very people who are helping to tell your story, that's when it becomes a problem, Andy said, a hint of frustration creeping into his voice. "I've worked with hundreds of people on these shows, and I've never seen anyone become so difficult to manage. It's exhausting." Andy went on to explain that Lisa's behavior had become increasingly erratic, both on and off camera. There were frequent complaints from the crew, producers, and even her fellow cast members. "It got to a point where I dreaded filming days when she was on set," Andy admitted. "You never knew what version of Lisa you were going to get, the fun, sassy Lisa who could light up a room, or the combative, paranoid Lisa who thought everyone was out to get her." But it wasn't just the behind-the-scenes drama that had gotten to Andy. He mentioned how Lisa's public comments about the network, her castmates, and even him had crossed a line. When you start airing dirty laundry in public and blaming everyone but yourself for your problems, it's hard to come back from that, he said, shaking his head. "There's a certain level of professionalism I expect from everyone who works on these shows, and unfortunately, Lisa has completely lost that." The announcement sent shockwaves through the Housewives fan base. Many were stunned that Andy had finally had enough, while others felt it was long overdue. Lisa Rinna had always been a lightning rod for controversy, but it was clear that something had changed in recent years, and not for the better. As the special episode came to a close, Andy took a deep breath, as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. At the end of the day, I wish Lisa the best. I hope she finds whatever it is she's looking for. But as far as I'm concerned, this chapter is closed." The audience erupted into applause, and as the cameras panned over the crowd, it was clear that Andy's words had resonated. For years, the Housewives had been a mix of entertainment and chaos, but there were limits, even for someone as seasoned as Andy Cohen. And with Lisa Rinna, those limits had finally been reached.